Frank McGuinness is a world-famous Irish writer, as I'm sure most people know. And he and I have worked together for a lot of years. And I think there are a very small group of writers who can sort of tell a complete story in a very short space of time. Raymond Carver, for instance, can do it. He's a great American writer. And Frank does it quite beautifully. He can tell something very rich and detailed and layered and complete, saying something kind of unique and full about humanity in like 15 minutes. Oddly, I knew I was going to make it because I read it, and within moments I just knew it could be. I think it could be beautiful.
It's sort of a love story, almost undercover in a way. On first reading, it feels very mysterious, and then each time you return to it, you sort of get a little bit closer to what's going on.
Frank has taken a what-if situation, which is what a lot of writers do. You know, you start with the title, What If, and he's taken a what-if about Raoul Wallenberg, who was a sort of silent, unspoken hero in the Second World War, allegedly saved up to 100,000 Jews. He was a Swedish diplomat by issuing them Swedish passports and housing them.
He spoke Russian, English, French, Swedish, German, Hungarian, and his Hungarian helped him go to Budapest in 1944 because his boss in the business couldn't go because he was a Jew, and he basically handed out passes to Jews and said, "You're now Swedish." And he put flags up on buildings, and he said, "This is now a Swedish consulate or a Swedish centre, that you can stay here." Even went onto trains that Eichmann had organised to go to Auschwitz with Hungarian Jews, and he handed out passes on the trains.
At the end of the Second World War, the Russians arrested him and threw him in a Russian gulag for all of the amazing things he did during the war. And it's said even now that that's where he died, but it has been suggested that he was spotted in the 80s, and so Frank has taken that and run with it and said, what if he was still alive in the 80s? Who would he be? And what would he be saying about the world? And what would he feel about what he did?
The idea behind the story is that Wallenberg has been in prison all that time, and he's had to deal with the fact that he did this extraordinary thing during the war, and then in a sense, he's been snuffed out of history. The idea that he spent all that time alive between 1945 and 1981, incarcerated for saving people, is shocking and horrifying and deeply, deeply sad.
I've worked with Angus, and I know Alex, and the three of us are going to be working together next year in New York, and so they just immediately sprung to mind without question, really. So, and I think they were perfect and brilliant and so committed. Beautiful, sensitive performances.
I play a young man called Anton. We think he's probably from Russia. He perhaps has been in this prison for less amount of time than Raoul. And Raoul, for him, at the beginning at least, is sort of a hero for him, and someone he idolises sort of as a god. But they're both sort of trying to save one another in different ways, and Anton's perhaps a way of doing that is to try and wake up the hero that he believes is in Raoul, that he needs to be there.
At the heart of it, and this is the thing that really got me, is a love story. And Frank, through all of his work, and if you look at all writing, it's about love. Whatever you write about, whether you're writing about social politics or any part of humanity, even its most depraved cruelties, you are looking at love in some form or other. And Frank does that so beautifully. And at the heart of this story, you've got a love story between a young dissident and Raoul Wallenberg. And that's the thing that propels the story for me.
As Frank McGuinness kind of puts into the play, into the script, which has Chekhov quality. It's light, it's distressing, it's hopeful, and it's very dark. And it's that mixture that is kind of extraordinary. There's something that puzzles you as you read it, and you go, what is this? And it feels, the longer we've worked on it, the more you begin to understand what it is. So that's always an attraction in a script, when you have to work to get inside it. Lia Williams, the director, kind of suggested that it might be good that we don't look too well-fed, and so we've both been surviving on not exactly prison rations, but we've not been. We've lost weight, and we've. That has made it. There've genuinely been times, I think the sound department would say, where you hear stomachs going. But it seems fitting. It seems really the right thing to do.
And that sort of hunger, I feel, also plays in really well with sort of what the story is at the heart of this need and this desire and this want for the other person or for something from the other person. Also, just being here has been extraordinary for what it gives you for free as an actor, I think.
Yeah, it's a sort of ruined, desolate, communist-era prison, built before that, but it's quite a tough environment to work in. It's quite cold, it's damp, it's crumbling. Obviously it's dilapidated now to a degree, but there is no doubt that people had a horrendous time here.
I mean, I had nightmares about it last night, absolute nightmares, sort of being horrified by ghosts of the past, but actually it also has an incredible beauty to it. So it's got a brutal beauty, which is what the story has. So the kind of the environment that we're in and the story we're telling gel in a way that I hadn't anticipated.
It's that human thing where, however strange an environment or dark an environment, it actually can then lift something that's really playful and joyful and poetic.
You have to let go of your passport and your phone. Do you know the most extraordinary thing has been having no phones? None of us are allowed phones on set, and it's changed everything. It's changed the way we communicate and the way we work together, and the focus on the story itself has been incredible. And you think, I started to think yesterday, our phones are a real problem with the way we work, in fact, because they're a terrible distraction. Also, they stop us talking to each other.
Lia's been really good at letting her mind be changed by what comes along. From the moment she was sent the script by Frank McGuinness, she had these very clear images of what it could be, and seeing those come into focus over these 2 days. And I think that's a great skill in a director, is not to have everything set in place.
I feel as if whenever I read a part as an actor, I'm looking at the whole. I don't just look at my role, I look at the whole story. And I think that probably naturally means that I have a directorial instinct. Having the experience of acting, knowing what an actor goes through and the vulnerability of an actor in front of a camera or an audience, I think I know how to communicate in a way that some directors who haven't acted really don't know. A very brilliant actress called Anna Maria Marenka recommended Tudor. I sent him an audio version of a rehearsal, and when he said after that rehearsal, he told me he could almost feel the air between the two actors on the audio. I knew he was the right person for it, and he's just gifted. He's a gifted visual artist, and it's been an unbelievable pleasure and delight to work with him and his crew. It's been fantastic to work with the Romanian crew. It's been an enlightening and really, really rich kind of experience, yeah.
After the last year of COVID, and I mean we're still in that world now and wearing masks and getting tested, but just to make something with, because I've known Angus and Lia for a while now, and to people that are friends, and that's just like, it's such a privilege to do that.
and celebrate this kind of this love story that's in a really violent world, and it kind of resonates because we've been through some hard times, I think, and you feel as if globally everybody's suffered in a similar way with COVID and lockdown, and to be able to find yourself doing such expressive work, I think has been very healthy for all of us, and it's helped kind of balance things up again.